Join us on this week's Pembroke Dock Towncast, where we'll have a look at all the news and events and sport that's going on in the town. We'll have a little look at what the VC Gallery is doing for the town. And once again, we will have a little chatty bit, which this week looks at how Pembroke Dock can make itself better once again. There's a lot to get on with, so let's do it.
Be strong.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pembroke Dock Towncast with me, Lee G. On my own, once again, you know the score on that one. If you've heard this before, more than welcome to come and join me. So just before we kick off with everything, we have got a couple of interviews lined up in the pipeline. So yeah, the next couple of weeks might be a little bit different, but it should be a bit more consistent as the rugby season has finished and all of my my rugby podcasts are now slowly drying up. Having said that, we're about to start a whole load of new ones in America and Australia. So yeah, in theory, my I should have more time to dedicate to Towncast Pembroke Dock. So yeah, let's crack on with a little bit of the news as we usually do. So again, nothing substantial in the press. What I've got, I drove past the Clyde Bridge Hotel site the other day, which is now empty. Is completely devoid of bricks and mortar and structure, which is a good thing in some respects. It's yes, it is sad to see the old hotel go, but progress is being made on the new housing estate, which is good. Might stop in and take a couple of photos next time. But if anybody has got a bit of an update on progress on that site, or can give us a contact on someone that we can talk about progress on that site, that would be dozy. It'd be good to know what's going on and timescales, etc. So while we're talking about progress in the news as well, so going back to an episode a while ago, we were talking about the police station relocating to the old community centre next to the doctor's surgery, what used to be the school, blah blah blah. So there was a site visit by town councillors, and it's not a pass, it's a recommendation that gets passed back to the planning council, where it basically, okay, there's no reason to not progress it, which is almost a whole podcast on its own. And let's say, go back by all means and have a look at the ones that we've done before. But yeah, I can guarantee that the residents of Argyle Street not going to be happy with that one. But it is a difficult one. It is a difficult one. So it's gone back to PCC planning, I believe, who do have the final say on it. And it is just a change of use for it. So it's difficult to see what's going to happen with that one. But that one has gone back to PCC. But my understanding from the other side of it is that they've actually put the application on hold. So I'll try and do a bit of digging and get a bit more of an update on that one as soon as I can. And I also had a chat with what you might call an incomer to the town. And when we get onto the chatty bit later, you'll understand where this kind of fits in and where my chatty bit from today kind of came from. But so someone from outside was visiting the town and thought, this is a nice place to live, and came and moved here. The fact that there's a job following them that will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, creating a whole load of other jobs. Up to 50, 60 jobs possibly in the old nuts and bolts factory. So I'm not going to say any more than that. It's up to them to make a big song and a dance about it and let people know. And it may not be until January, February next year or something like that. But yeah, so there's stuff coming, and again, it's people coming to the town, liking the vibe of the town, liking what's going on in the town, and going, yeah, this is a place where I can come to. This is a place where I can put down roots and bring up family and things like that, which is a fantastic thing that we need to kind of remind ourselves every now and again on that. So, yeah, if you've got any other news that you want to share with the world or the town, then by all means drop. So if you've got any other news that you would like to share with the town or the world, whichever way around you want to do that, then by all means drop me a line on I Love Towncasts at gmail.com or drop us a message on Facebook, which a few people have done. And yeah, now might be a good time to say if you want to come and join us, please do. If you want to just come and do bits, if you want to come and do a bit every now and again, if you want to improve your social media profile, yeah, great, fantastic. If you're just wondering what podcasts are or towncasts are and how you can get, well, you don't need a lot of kit. You need a laptop and some headphones or a mic. Sometimes you don't even need that, depending on your laptop. So, yeah, drop us a line, I love timecast at gmail.com, and let's get you on board with that one. Right, let's have a look at the events desk then. What have we got going on with events? So this week, similar to what I did a couple of weeks ago, where we had a look at what was going on at the Pater Hall. So trying to get all of the events in the town together is quite difficult. One of the things that we are not very good at is advertising our events on social media. Because we don't use keywords, we can't. There's a whole load of reasons that we can do it. We just a lot of the stuff in Pembroke Dock happens to word of mouth, but that does limit who's going to be coming. So if you go to the VC Gallery website, which is thevcgallery.com. Everything the VC Gallery does is up there. Now, a lot of people's perception of the VC Gallery is it's for just for veterans. Now, which I think is pretty much how it started, and it is very, very focused on providing support and help for veterans. Of all um, all of the armed forces. But it's also about engaging in community, engaging in society, and if you need help, if you're looking for something to do and you've got a bit of a, I fancy doing a bit of art or I fancy doing a bit of photography or a bit of gardening or whatever, you get in touch with them because there's a strong chance they'll go, do you know what, just come along. This is about making sure that everybody is kind of together and feels right. It's very difficult to turn somebody away if they say, "Hey, I need some help." So, um, what's on at the VC Gallery? So, if you don't know where the VC Gallery is, it's in the old school on the top road on the just past the fire behind the fire station up there. So Monday we kick off 11:30 with veterans recovery, 11 games and socializing. There's also self-defense. There's quizzes, circus flow and juggling. Sounds interesting. And then smart recovery. I don't know what smart recovery means. I know what a smart target is. I know what recovery is. I know how the social and mental side of that would work. So I'm assuming I know that, but I'm not going to tell you what that is just in case I get it wrong on that. Okay. So there you can see on a Tuesday we've got the songwriting project. We've got art going on. We've got advocacy drop in. So if you need any help with anything, accessing, if you're struggling to access something, you think, surely there's a bit of government that should be helping me with this, then that's good. So I'm going to assume that that is very, very targeted at veterans. Wellbeing walk on a Wednesday. Now, if anyone's not been on a wellbeing walk, I think these are growing all over the place. So I know the pubs do a few. I know that national parks do a few. These are really, really good. If you've never just gone for a walk with someone, then this is a great place to start. Because do you know what? Just I don't know what it is. I think it's being out in the fresh air. It's being out with people. It's walking places we've never seen, and stimulating an interest in something. Um, Getting to know new people. There's so many good things that happen on a well-being walk that it's well worth doing. Then we've got seated exercise and facilitated art sessions with Dean. So, art is very much where the VC Gallery started. If you know anything about Barry, you'll know that's where he comes from, and that's how he kind of helped himself, and that was his route through to dealing with recovering after seeing some pretty awful things and being through some pretty awful situations. That was how he helped himself, and this is about helping others to help themselves as well. So, yeah, Thursday open art sessions, Friday gardening club. We've got photography, then we've got art again. We've got a bit of a jumble sale, and we've got bingo. Oh, who doesn't love a bit of bingo? Who doesn't love a bit of bingo on a Friday? What a great way to start your Friday afternoon with a bit of bingo. So that's what sort of, you can see that's a pretty packed kind of event schedule for the VC Gallery, and they run additional items as well. They do other events here, there, and everywhere. So, do you know what? It's worth asking the question. If you are a veteran and you haven't made contact with the VC Gallery, then I suggest you do, either from a point of being able to help somebody else, or from that bit of getting a little bit of help yourself. And most of us are in that position where we will be able to help somebody, but also be in a position where we need a help. Where you take a gardening club, I could quite happily just sit there all day every day and do a bit of gardening, and I would be the happiest little chappy that you ever come across. So that's very much my thing. You will find something in here that works for you. And if you aren't a veteran, it's worth just dropping a line and saying, "Hey, do you know what? I'm a bit of a songwriter, and I've got no one else to hang around with. Can I come on a Tuesday morning at 10:30? Ask the question, because I guarantee that somebody, if they can't help you, they'll post you somewhere that does help you." Okay, so that is my what's on for the VC Gallery for this week. Now, as always, I know there's a whole load of other events that are going on, and this, that, and the other. Please tag me in them. Just tag the Towncast in them, so that we'll pick them up and we'll get them on, or post them on our page. More than happy to post them on our page, and then we'll just let you know when the time comes for that. So, if you've got anything like that, then please do let us know. Okay, let's crack on with the chatty bit. Before I do that, I'm going to get rid of that. Ready. Okay. Okay, so this week's chatty bit is, I say, kind of based on conversations that I've had with quite a few people now. So my normal working life, if you like, is based around business support, helping businesses to create jobs. Is essentially what I do. Um, and and I do that for the whole of Pembrokeshire. And Pembroke Dock is a bit of a black spot. I'm going to be honest with you. Pembroke Dock is a bit of a black spot. I don't get many requests from businesses in Pembroke Dock, and the ones that I do tend to be um, with the best will in the world, and this is no kind of criticism of anybody that's kind of sent one in, but the requests that come from Pembroke Dock tend to be quite desperate and quite naive. We're either going to take on the world and create the next Google. Well, we've got £1,000 to invest, and that's it. Or, please help me. I'm desperate, and I don't know what to do. So my kind of vibe as well. So I also deal with bigger businesses who are reluctant to come to Pembroke Dock. Let me put it that way. That I'm going to balance this, okay, with the fact that some businesses have come to Pembroke Dock. Some big businesses have come to Pembroke Dock, but they will bring in people from outside because the skills that they need for that business don't exist in Pembroke Dock. And this is why I want to have this conversation. Yeah. Now, let me frame this in I was brought up in Pembroke Dock. I was born in Haverfordwest. I came to Pembroke Dock at the age of 5. Okay, I went to Park Infants. I went through Pembroke Dock Junior School. I went through Bush. So I didn't come from a particularly wealthy background. I wasn't hard up by any means. We didn't struggle for anything, but we had one holiday every 3 or 4 years, if that, and that was usually paid for by grandparents. Okay. We had one car that was pretty much falling apart. And it wasn't until I left home that my parents actually bought a new car. Make of that what you will. But it was just trying to frame it that I'm not coming and I'm not talking down to anyone here. Okay. Because the bit I want to talk about is how it's aspiration. How we as residents of Pembroke Dock, yes, I've moved out of Pembroke Dock now, live in Pembroke, but how we as residents of Pembroke Dock view ourselves and how we control that narrative about how other people perceive us. And the reason I say that is because we are very easy with letting people talk us down. Whereas when I'm in a conversation with people from other towns, okay, and I'll give you an example. Okay, Milford. So I was talking to a business in Milford, and somebody made a little bit of a joke about we were talking about skill base. We were talking about would there be enough people with enough technical know-how to get this project up and going. And somebody made a comment about the only thing people in Milford know is how to nick a laptop. Okay, so that was the comment that was made by a person from Milford. So there was a ha ha ha, and then somebody went hang fire, hang fire. No, I'm not having that. Actually, people in Milford are working really, really hard to improve the conversation that we have about ourselves, and that doesn't help. And that kind of hit me. I went, wow, okay. I've got family in Milford, and whenever I've spoken to them, they've always kind of been a bit like Pembroke Dock. It's about, how can we take the mick out of ourselves? How can we put ourselves down? We're quite happy being at the bottom, sort of a thing. So something's changed in Milford that I don't get that feeling that that's changed in Pembroke Dock. When I talk to people in Pembroke Dock, and it's not as many as I used to. Obviously, I don't live there anymore, so I only talk to certain segments here, there, and everywhere. And I may be wrong. Hey, yeah, if I'm wrong on this, yeah, then by all means put those comments underneath my YouTube video, down. Look at that, look, oh, there we go. Down, pop them underneath there if you're watching on YouTube, put them on our social and tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me what's happening in Pembroke Dock to change the attitude of people in Pembroke Dock, you know. Tell me how we go from a situation where if you're in that conversation and somebody says, "Yeah, I'm not gonna bring my business to Pembroke Dock because I need a load of engineers and they just don't exist in Pembroke Dock." So I would love to be in that position to go, actually, hang on, because here's a project that's working with kids in Pembroke Dock. Take a look at the school and look at how many people in that school go to a university and study engineering. Look how many people have to move away. How many of our kids that are brought up on, I don't know, in the Bush estate or in Penna or whatever, how many of those kids they go to university and then they have to move away because there aren't good engineering jobs in Pembroke Dock? Let's bring those people home. You bring your business here and those people will come home. You know, that's not the feeling that I'm getting when I talk to Pembroke Dock people. And I've had this since say when I was brought up in Pembroke Dock, there were a couple of us, we were quite a close group of friends that actually wanted to improve. We worked hard in school. No, I didn't work. I could have worked harder in school. Looking back on it now, yes, I could have worked harder in school, but I did enough to get to university. I did enough to move away to London, to Bristol, and then I came home to raise a family. So, it can be done. I don't get that feeling that that's happening for a massive amount of people in Pembroke Dock in the way it needs to. I get the feeling that there's like a top end of Pembroke Dock where that's the aspiration. This is what we're going to do. And I know I've got friends in Pembroke Dock where that's absolutely what they've done. They've brought their kids up to work hard and they've gone away to university and now they're living away because the jobs aren't in Pembroke Dock. Okay. But I know that if a certain kind of jobs came up, there are people who would want to come home and live in Pembroke Dock. Okay. So that's my question to ourselves. What are we doing to improve our aspiration? When when you're in a conversation and somebody starts talking Pembroke Dock down, what are we doing to correct them on that? Are we stopping them and saying, actually, no, Pembroke Dock's not like that now? Actually, if we want Pembroke Dock to be better, then we need to stop talking ourselves down, like what you're doing there, mate. We need to stop talking ourselves down and we need to start finding ways to improve ourselves. We need to start saying to ourselves, if we're going to have a better quality of life, okay, and for me, that's what everything is about, that quality of life. It's not necessarily about money because money and quality of life are different things. But if we're going to improve our quality of life for everyone in Pembroke Dock, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to make that happen? And how are we going to come together to help each other to make that happen? So, we've just looked at what's going on in the VC gallery, very much aimed at the creative side of things. We've got songwriting, we've got art, we've got, other bits and bobs. You've also got support there from people who will be able to help you doing things. So, those kind of projects are great. But have we got enough of those projects so that everybody in Pembroke Dock has got something where they can go, do you know what? This is what I'm doing to help improve what's going on in the town. Um, I can give you a straight up honest perception of what Pembroke Dock is, yeah, from outside. When I talk to business owners and people around the county and people outside the county, the perception of Pembroke Dock is not a great one. Yeah. For whatever reason, and however far back you want to go on that, it's not a great one. And I know that there are people in Pembroke Dock working really, really hard to improve the perception of that, but it feels like they're fighting the tide. It feels like we're trying to hold back the tide and say, no, you're not coming in. Where there's this wave of actually, no, we're scum and we're proud. That is a genuine comment that somebody from Pembroke Dock said to me when I questioned their outlook on Pembroke Dock. We're scum and we're proud. And here's the sad thing: is I don't think that person genuinely believes that comment. I don't think that they one. I don't think that they're scum, and two, I don't think they're proud of being scum. I think they, yes, I think they'd like to be in a better paid job, in a more aspirational job, in a job where they can stand up and go, "Hey, do you know what? This is what I'm doing, and this is absolutely gonna improve people's lives." Um, but I don't know why we would be in that position where we go, "Hey, I'm scum and I'm proud." So that is my. It's more of a question than a chatty bit. What do we do? What do we do to improve the perception of Pembroke Dock? Now I've spoken about events in the past and holding events in the town centre, with the carnival clubs, and having something that will occupy time and promote the town. You know, is there a reason that people would come to Pembroke Dock and visit Pembroke Dock? If they're going on the ferry, that's about it. Is there anything that you could say to somebody that was going onto the ferry or coming off the ferry that would go, hey, have a look at this while you're there? I appreciate that the 1 o'clock in the morning ferry is going to be quite a difficult. It's going to be a challenge. But for the afternoon ferry, come a couple of hours early, and what could you do? So yeah, there's lots of questions that need to be asked and answered. And my key, but when I was walking through this, and I made loads of notes and this kind of thing, yeah, this is about controlling our own narrative, and that's controlling our narrative to ourselves and externally. What do we tell ourselves? What do we tell ourselves within our community, within our society, within people in Pembroke Dock? What do we say to ourselves that we go, actually, we need to start talking ourselves up, not down? We need to start focusing on, okay, if there's an issue, if there's a problem, then how do we deal with that? And there will be problems. There'll always be problems. Part of development is that there will be issues. I spoke about the Clyde Bridge Hotel. The first thing that people complained about is why we're putting a housing estate at the top of the hill. Not, hey, great, we've got some new social housing coming, which will enable people to get onto the housing market, and will enable people to be a bit more responsible for their future. So there's always going to be issues. There's always going to be questions about it. But how do we control that narrative to ourselves? How do we get to a situation where somebody's mouthing off down the pub and you turn around and go, actually, I don't think the town is like that. Is there somebody else that's going to back you up and say, do you know what? Yeah, actually, things are changing, or is somebody going to go, if we're going to keep talking ourselves down, then we're never going to change things. So, what can we do to improve things? And that's my challenge. It's how do we control that narrative to ourselves first, and then externally after? So, and Milford is absolutely doing it. Yes, there's a lot of investment that's gone in there from the Port Authority, but the people of Milford have taken what's there and gone, "Do you know what? We can be better than this. You know, we need to start bigging ourselves up if we want people outside to perceive us differently." And that's the bit that I'm questioning in Pembroke Dock now is how do we do that? How do we move ourselves forward? How do we change our view of ourselves to one that says, "Do you know what? We need to be better. We need to work harder, and we can do this." How do we change that narrative to our kids that goes, "You need to work hard in school because in 10 years' time, these are the jobs that are going to be in Pembroke Dock. And if you want to stay in Pembroke Dock, you need to be skilled in these areas." How do we change that narrative? How do we change that narrative that says, if you don't aspire to be better, you won't achieve it. If you're sitting there and just looking for excuses to not be better rather than things to work on to be better, then you won't make this a better town. This town, all those things that people say from outside the town, um, may well be true, you know, and until we take that responsibility on ourselves to go, right, we're going to be better, we're going to do something to be better, and we're going to improve the narrative that we listen to, the narrative that we speak. We're going to take this seriously. We're going to, as a town, we're going to improve ourselves and do things differently. Until then, yeah, what are we doing? Somebody else is controlling our narrative. And when somebody else is controlling your narrative, they're doing it for their benefit, not yours. Nobody outside the town is sitting there going, "Hey, do you know what? Let's go and help Pembroke Dock." That's not the way it works. You have to be the one banging the drum and going, "Pembroke Dock is improving. Pembroke Dock is getting better. Pembroke Dock needs a bit of help with this, and Pembroke Dock needs investment in this." That's when you're in control of your own narrative. That's when you're telling people that this is a place to come and visit and a place to come and live. So just like the guy I was talking to who has moved to the area, and has chosen to live in Pembroke Dock, he sees the good stuff. Him and his wife see the good stuff. They see the opportunities. They see the benefits of Pembroke Dock. They've come from a city kind of area, I believe, to an area where they go, "Do you know what? There's greenery, there's open spaces, there's walks, there's beaches, there's plenty of stuff here to make this place better." And he wants to be a part of that. So why don't we want to be a part of making our town better? So yes, comments and thoughts, welcome. As always, pop them below. Hopefully, this is something that we can return to in future. As I've said from day one, this is about finding ways to improve and to talk up what we've got in the town. So I appreciate that, what I've just said there can be perceived as negative. It's really not. It's about, I want Pembroke Dock to pull itself up by the bootstraps and go, "Do you know what? Here we are. Yes, what you're saying about us might have been true 10, 15, 20 years ago, but it's not true now. This is a town that's going places with people with aspiration and effort, and come and join us." So that's really what I'm trying to get to. That's why we set up the Towncast. That's what we're trying to do to improve everybody's life in Pembroke Dock. So yes, with that said, by all means, if you want to come and join me on Pembroke Dock Towncast, please do. Like I said, it's quite difficult doing this on your own, talking to yourself all the time. But the research and all of those bits that go into it also take a bit of time. If there's a few more of us on board, we could make this more regular, and yeah, we can bandy ideas. So if you're sitting at home now watching this and going, "That guy's talking crap," then come and talk, because that's what we want to do. I want to get different viewpoints. I want to be in that position where we go, "Hey, everybody in Pembroke Docks got an opportunity to listen to a voice that talks to them. Okay, so by all means, drop me a line either on Facebook or on our email address, I love gmail.com, and get yourself on it and let's have a chat. Lovely jubbly. Okay, let's do some sports desk. Okay, so this week's sports desk is probably cricket orientated, mainly because I know I've skipped a week or two and we just need to catch up with everything. If you've got a sport that you want us to cover, and you can send us some information, by all means, I will talk about it. Um, so just a quick shout out to allwellsport.co.uk, which is where you'll find a load of information about rugby, football, youth football, junior rugby, junior football. Um, it's a really good site. It's got a lot of information. These guys work really, really hard to make it happen. So let's have a little looky at the results. So we're recording this on Sunday. So these are the results from yesterday's games. And then we'll have a look at where everybody is in the table. So Carew beat Herbrinston at home. That's a decent score, 249 for 4, and bowled them out for 145. So yeah, Carew looking good on that one. And Loreni beat Burton as well, which is great. And then down the bottom here, we've got Cresselly beating Saundersfoot as well. So all three teams that we look at in Division 1 looking good last week. So week before, just have a little look down. So Carew won that one. Cresselly beat Langham, and Loreni beat Haverfordwest as well. Oh, I'm going to enjoy looking at the table here. I haven't looked at the table already. So Carew top, Cresselly second, and then 3-4. Loreni in fifth. Only won 3 games, but yeah, you look at the top of the table there, Carew and Cresselly starting to open up a gap over Saundersfoot and Nayland. So, two teams that have got a really, really good, strong tradition. When you look at all of those teams in that top division there, um, I'd say maybe Herbrinston is the new guy up there, but all of those teams at the top have got a really strong cricketing tradition. So that's a competitive league. So for Carew and Cresselly to be at the top there, is really good. Both of them unbeaten. So normally when I say, oh, unbeaten, and then I look at fixtures, that's the fixture coming up. So there it is. Absolutely bang on. Yeah. Carew versus Cresselly, next weekend, 14th of June. Do you know what? That is one that you're going to want to go and see. Genuinely, it's at Carew. So plenty of parking. I know you probably shouldn't, but you can park in the Castle car park and then walk over, but there is plenty of parking at the clubhouse as well. That's got to be worth watching. That is. Loreni also entertaining Whitland as well. Fingers crossed that'll be a decent game. But Carew Cresselly, the game of the week. That is too close to call. Genuinely too close to call. Home advantage for Carew, possibly, but that is going to be an absolute banger of a match on that one. Okay, let's have a look in Division 2. So, Division 2 results from yesterday then. So, Cresselly seconds beat Lanryan. Again, 270 for 6 is a really, really good score on that. Carew seconds went down to Johnston. So fair play, Johnston. But those are really, really low scores. Really low scores for this kind of level on that. So yeah, so Johnston all out for 92, beat Kiru seconds, all out for 79. So I'm going to suggest that maybe I have absolutely no reason to suggest this other than when you look at the other scores around and then you look at that one, you go, something happened there. It may well be that the Johnston pitch might not have been in the best of nick. So week before, Kiru seconds beat Burton seconds. I'm just looking down there. Yeah, Pembroke lost to Cresselly. So if you look at the week before there, so Pembroke 206 lost to Cresselly 222. Kiru seconds 64 for one beat Burton 60. Well, yeah, I mean if they're bowling Burton out for 60, that's a good one anyway. Let's have a little look at the table. So top of the table is Narberth on 136 points. Pembroke in third on 103. So Cresselly seconds would be in, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cresselly seconds in sixth. Kiru seconds in seventh. So Cresselly on 89, Kiru on 85. I mean, I think top of the table is stretching itself away. Narberth is on 136, but there's plenty of time left to play. We're about halfway through the season. Played 7 games, so yeah, there's about 7 or 8 left. There's potential though. There's definite potential for moving up. So let's have a little look at fixtures this week. Coming up on the 14th of June, Cresselly seconds are at home to St Ishmael's. Kiru seconds are away in Pembroke. That might be a good one. That might be a good one because that's a bit of a local derby there. I know we don't cover Pembroke on this Town-cast because that would be for the Pembroke Town-cast, but definitely a decent game there in Pembroke if you're hanging around with nothing to do this weekend. Okay, Division 3. This is where the big boys are. This is where we're looking. So, Haverfordwest seconds beat Pembroke Dock. So Pembroke Dock 164 for 7, and Haverfordwest passed that for the loss of 4 wickets. That's a shame. That's a shame because they were doing really well the last time we checked in there. So let's have a look at where that leaves the Dock in the table. Yeah, see, Fishguard, they're just starting to stretch ahead. The Dock have lost 2 games now. So I'm gonna have a quick look at the week before. Yeah, they beat Larne the week before. When was the last time the Dock lost? Must have been a while ago because they've had a good run of form. Yeah, we're talking back start of May. I can't remember the game where the other game where Pembroke Dock lost. There we go. Lamphy back in. Yes, Lamphy beat Pembroke Dock. Yes, which yeah, a bit of a local fixture on that one. So there's opportunity there where Hundredton in third are quite close, but Fishguard 125 points are not too far away. That game between Pembroke Dock and Fishguard looks really, really important. So put my foot in it. Fishguard versus Pembroke Dock. Yes, every time. So massive game this weekend coming. 14th of June, Fishguard against Pembroke Dock. That is if the Dock win that one, then that whole top of the table is completely wide open. So absolutely best of luck to the boys this weekend because if you're coming away with a win against Fishguard, then that top of the table, boys, is wide open, and they've still got to come to you then. So yeah, good one coming this weekend on that. Let's have a little look at Division 4. This is where it gets confusing because we've got seconds and thirds. So we've got Kitteru thirds lost to Saunders Foot. And where did I see? There we go. Yeah. Loreni seconds beat Lanryan seconds there as well. That's a hell of a score by Loreni seconds. 237 for 3. And then they bowl Lanryan out for 95. Oof, is what I'd say on that. So quick look at the table there then. Let's have a look and see where everyone is, yeah, again, mid-table. So we are one, two, three, four, five, sixth and seventh. Loreni second in sixth, and Kiru third in seventh. And again, I think maybe top of the table is outreach, but certainly an opportunity to jump into the top three or four with a couple of decent wins. So let's have a look at fixtures this weekend. Kiru thirds are hosting Crimmock, and Loreni seconds are away at Haverfordwest thirds. See, the thing is, when you play Haverfordwest thirds, is you never know which pitch you're going to be on. So, yeah, it's going to be a good game anyway on that one. Let's have a look at Division 5. That was Division 4, wasn't it? Yeah, let's have a look at Division 5. Who have we got in Division 5? Cresselli, yeah. So Cresselli third in Division 5, lost last week to Hundleton, and then the week before, game abandoned against Pembroke Dock. See, I don't know how they do the maybe that was a rain thing. Who knows? So we've then got seconds, Pembroke Dock seconds. 111 for one, beat Whitland seconds, 100. That is a belting score. If you're bowling out Whitland seconds for 110 and you're passing that for the loss of one wicket, oosh. I mean, come on, people. Right, let's have a look at the table and see where the seconds are on that. So Pembroke Dock seconds are in third, and Cresselli thirds are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh, but there's only 8 in this table. So, yeah, I mean that is a tight top of the table. Herbernston seconds have won sixth, Leckrich seconds have won 5, Pembroke Dock seconds have won 5, and then you drop to Haverfordwest fourths after that. So those top 3 teams, any one of those 3 teams realistically could be going up. So yeah, okay. Let's have a look at fixtures for this week. And who are the Dock playing this week? Cresselli thirds. Oh, now that classes as a local derby for us. So Pembroke Dock seconds, Cresselli thirds. That should be a fun game to watch anyway on that. Let's have a look at Division 6. So Division 6 is a little bit crazy. The only team that we really got in here is this Haverfordwest Cresselli crossover. So they lost to Leckrich thirds anyway. And where are they in the table now? Mid-table. There's only 6 teams in this table anyway, and there you can see Leckrich have only played 4 games so far, so they're the ones catching up. Fixtures for this weekend: Haverfordwest Cresselli host Kilgetty seconds. Where they host, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea on that one, but somebody somewhere is hosting Kilgetty seconds on that one. So there is one kind of thing that I was going to have a quick looky round. I haven't done any research on this, guys. Okay, so I haven't looked to see where we are on that. Just going to see if any of us are involved in Harrison Allen on that. So nobody left on our kind of side in Harrison Allen, Dougie Morris. So quarter-final stage there. So Kiru beat Pembroke. So Kiru are in the semi-finals. Loreni lost to Cresselli. Oh, that would have been a hell of a game, Loreni and Cresselli. And we like both of those teams. So Cresselli are in the semi-finals as well. Similarly, Saundersfoot Narberth. I know it's not our kind of bag, but Saundersfoot Narberth would have been a good one as well. So semi-finals there. Have we got semi-final fixtures yet? Nope. Okay, and Alec Colley Cup. So we've got Alec Colley just about to kick off. So at some point that'll be Tuesday night. Cresselli and Herbernston on that one, which will be quite nice on there. Okay, so that rounds up all of the sport and concludes this week's Towncast Pembroke Dock. So, yeah, thank you very much for your comments and your support so far. I've got a really, really long list of things to do, including sponsorship and interviewing people. There's lots of people that want to come on and be interviewed. If you are sitting there and going, do you know what? I want to do something that helps Pembroke Dock, but I'm not sure what I want to do. Come and give this a go. Come and join me. It would be great to have other people involved. And you won't have to listen to me drone on. You know, that's the way it goes. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your support and your comments so far. By all means, comment on the video, comment on our socials. We love getting your comments. We love having a chat. And the only thing left to say after that is have a great week, and I shall see you next time on the Pembroke Dock Towncast. All the best.
Be strong.